The train that never came. When I was a boy, the train station was the center of our small town. It was where soldiers left and returned, where lovers said goodbye and hello, where dreams began and ended. Every day, people would gather on the wooden benches, tickets in hand, waiting for the sound of the whistle and the rush of steam that announced a new journey. But there was one man who stood out among them all. He wasn't holding a ticket. He wasn't carrying luggage. He never boarded a train. He simply came every morning, sat on the same bench at the far end of the platform, and waited. Rain or shine, winter or summer, he was always there, eyes fixed on the tracks. As a child, I was curious. "Who is he waiting for?" I once asked my mother. She looked at me, sighed softly, and said, "For someone who never arrived." Years later, when I was old enough, I finally spoke to him. His name was Samuel, though everyone just called him the man at the station. He had deep lines on his face, eyes that seemed to look both at you and through you, and a quietness that made you lean closer just to hear his words. When I asked him why he came every day, he smiled faintly and told me his story. Many years ago, when I was young, I fell in love with a girl named Eleanor. She was everything to me, gentle, kind, full of dreams bigger than this small town. We wanted to marry, but life wasn't easy back then. I didn't have money, I didn't have stability. So I promised her, "Let me go work in the city. I'll come back for you, and when I do, we'll start our life together." She agreed, but she made me promise one thing in return. If ever we're separated, if ever we lose touch, meet me at the station. The morning train, first day of every month, I'll be there, always. And for a while, we wrote letters. Every week, words of love, of longing, of plans for the future. But then the letters slowed. One was lost, then another, and eventually, silence. I came back here to this station, hoping to see her stepping off the train. But she never came. Still, I waited. The next month, and the next, and the next. 50 years later, here I am, and I'm still waiting. His voice cracked when he said those words, but his eyes were steady, like a clock that never stopped ticking. "People tell me I'm a fool," he said softly. "They say she moved on, that she forgot me, that I wasted my life. But they don't understand. Waiting is not weakness. Waiting is proof of love. This bench, these tracks, they are the only places where I still feel close to her. And until my last breath, I will be here. Because some promises are worth keeping, even if no one else remembers them." I sat there in silence, the sound of the trains rushing in and out around us. Passengers hugged, cried, laughed, carried bags, began journeys. But Samuel just sat still, like a monument to love that time could not erase. Years passed. I left the town, went to college, traveled, built my own life. But whenever I came home, I would stop by the station. And every time, without fail, Samuel was still there, older, weaker, but always waiting. Until one winter morning, I arrived to find his bench empty. For the first time in my life, he wasn't there. I asked the station master, and he said quietly, "Samuel passed away last night. He waited until the very end." On the bench, they had placed a single envelope. It was addressed in shaky handwriting to Eleanor. Inside, just 4 words: "I kept my promise." I stood there, the whistle of the departing train filling the air, tears in my eyes. I realized that Samuel's story wasn't just about love lost. It was about something deeper, about loyalty, about faith, about the kind of devotion that doesn't need to be rewarded to be real. Because life is full of unfinished journeys, missed connections, and broken promises. But what defines us is not whether others return to us. It's whether we choose to keep showing up anyway. That night, I thought about my own promises, big and small. The commitments I made and quietly broke. The people I let drift away because I was too busy, too distracted, too afraid. And I asked myself, what am I still waiting for? Who have I left standing on the platform of my life, wondering if I'll ever return? So tonight, as you listen to Samuel's story, remember this. One day, the train will stop coming for all of us. One day, our benches will be empty. And what will remain are the promises we either kept or didn't. If there are words you've been holding back, speak them. If there are people you've left waiting, go to them. If there is a dream you promised yourself, don't delay it. Because love is not proven in grand gestures, but in the simple act of showing up again and again, even when no one else does. The train that never came may be the saddest story of all. But the man who kept waiting, he may have been the richest soul I ever met. And perhaps in the end, that is the real lesson. That love is not about how long it lasts, but about how deeply we choose to live it before our final train arrives.